Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Flowerdilly, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. I mostly play horror games, indie games, and sometimes action games depending on the time of the day and the day of the week. I've actually decided to do the very unnatural and converse with a wider range of the Dead by Daylight players and have come to a very secure conclusion. Not a lot of people like this year's Haunted by Daylight update. It may not be shocking news to some, but yes, this year's event was very unpopular, and there are a lot of factors going towards why this year wasn't as enjoyable for players. So, to explain this update in short, it was released on the 14th of October 2025, that'd be the year this video is released, and is said to end on the 4th of November 2025. And it is an event that is separate from the original game itself, so you have the option of playing either or. When playing this update, you do have tasks you need to complete to earn this year's Halloween cosmetics and items, which I believe won't be available afterward until possibly next year if they do return. If you want to learn more about the mechanics of the game, I do have a short, barely 4-minute video that I did describing how the mechanics work. It's a quick watch. If you have any more questions about the update, don't be afraid to comment them down below this video or in my last video. By the way, before we go further into this, I would like to put a disclaimer that this is not entirely my opinion, but rather that of complaints I've heard from the community, so please don't bombard my poor comments with absolute rage. I will state if I've experienced this thing myself, and there will be a little bit of positivity towards the end, I promise. The first problem I think this year's event had was, in true Dead by Daylight fashion, the toxicity of the players. Now, I may be a survivor main, but I do dabble in the killer side now and again, but I have noticed how absolutely sweaty the killer side has been for this challenge. Now, I'm not saying killers have to be nice, because if you've seen any of my videos, you know now I like a fun, balanced game where killers try, but the level of play I saw was straight out toxic. I mean, waiting until survivors were about to fully place in all their void energy before downing them, or just slugging and leaving players to bleed out while they go smash pumpkins. I mean, all of the old common decency of events is now dead, and this update has made that very clear. And I personally have seen that it discourages players from playing the event. Now, I'm not going to sit here and hate on killer mains, because I know why killers have been disgruntled by this update, and that is because they have been given very little within this update, especially when it comes to what they can do with void energy. Now, for killers, they can only put void energy towards haunts, which have had many issues as the start of the event, and glitches, like getting stuck or just not moving. They also don't even do much for the killer compared to what the buff survivors get for their version of the Void Crystal, because their version is able to partially repair gens and be a smoke bomb. Also, there seemed to be a very varied opinion on the killer cosmetics. Some people said they loved the purchasable ones, and others said they wish you could earn like more Halloween themed items for killers besides just weapons when progressing through the challenges. Some survivors also seem to not like the fact they can't heal in the Void Realm, but I can't exactly complain about behavior doing that, because I think it was a solid attempt at balancing the game, since when you leave the Void, you're teleported to a random place on the map. Or I think it's like a designated place, but there's still a lot of distance you can teleport across the map, which is another problem killer mains have been having with this event. Another thing that negatively impacted this event is how, much like the original game, it is not beginner friendly. I mean, even I was slightly confused by playing, and I'm sure baby players were even more confused, especially if they hadn't played the Halloween event before, and that is probably more likely to be the case, especially since a lot of new players that were FNAF fans joined when Springtrap came out in June. The event didn't have an easy learning curve that every game needs, especially since the events are temporary. They should be easy to pick up and understand. Also, I've seen a few people complaining about bugs, but I haven't seen anything specific, so I won't be assuming it's because of the Halloween event. The only thing I've seen and experienced because of this event was perk presets being reset within the event lobby, which was met with a lot of panic, confusion, and frustration. The other downside to this event is how absolutely aggravating these new offerings are within the event, because you can only use them when the event is active, unlike the anniversary offerings that you can use all year round no matter what. And you get a lot of these ridiculous Halloween offerings to the point it almost feels statistically impossible to use all of them before the event is over. It almost feels like it's defeating the purpose of earning all of those extra blood points for the blood web, because yes, you are earning blood points, but once you reach that cap, you're stuck with spending them more on basically the same offerings all over again. I've personally experienced this one, but the wait times for the game are super long. For instance, it took about 40 minutes to load into a single game, but when I finally got in, the killer disconnected. Now, this issue may be a little bit different as of now when making this video, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, I may be a Nancy main, but I don't like to be a negative Nancy, so I will say now there are a few things I do love about this event, and one of them would be the teaser trailer. I loved it. It was super cute. I loved the 80s comic theme because it gave major What Remains of Edith Finch vibes, especially Barbara's section of the game. I also really like this year's batch of skeleton shirts and the return of the old ones, because I won't lie, I was a sucker for those. And lastly, they really nailed the artistic vibe for this event. The colors are great, even though they do remind me of this meme. And the new skins are great. I mean, I love the new Ghostface skin as a Ghostface main myself. Overall, behavior employees should be required to play 10 matches of each side at least once a week so they can actually experience the state of their game. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did a lot of research for this both in the game and within the community, and I actually wrote a script for this video. So if you made it this far, thank you. You're amazing and I really appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to join the Silly Dillies. And so you don't miss another video, make sure to turn your notification bell on so you can help support a small creator. Have a beautiful and amazing day. Goodbye. I have overall behavior please English, you're British, girl, figure it out.